Hey, welcome to another episode of the Hustle Reports. Today, we're going to be talking about how to start a business during a global pandemic. We also have another very special guest today. She is Chassidy Chapman, the founder of, what's it called, Suki?
Let Us Women Stand Together.
Really good title there.
Yes.
Can't wait to have her come on. All that and more on the Hustle Reports. All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Hustle Reports, where we develop a culture of entrepreneurship by highlighting the different stories of success from business owners, entrepreneurs, and just all kinds of cool people. My name's Peter Helms.
And I'm Suki.
And today we're going to be really diving into a question that we'll have answers for. It's how do you start a business during a global pandemic?
Yeah, so the great part is that our guest, Chassidy Chapman, coming all the way from Manchester, Connecticut, started a business in October during the global pandemic.
Absolutely, like right in the middle of it.
Correct, yeah.
Also, we're coming live from Pie Hops Restaurant in downtown Norwich, Connecticut, which is about 3 hours from New York, about an hour from Boston. Really good destination point if you like casinos. There's Foxwoods and Mohegan Sun nearby. They also started their business
During the pandemic.
They did.
I just love saying pandemic. It's kind of funny. Kind of like China.
China. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of miss that, actually.
Yeah, I do. He was such an entertainer on this whole thing. It's like sort of refreshing.
I know, I mean, like, terrible person and everything, don't get me wrong, but entertaining. Like,
I don't think he's a terrible person, but that's just my take on it. I don't agree with everything he said and did. He was pretty
that's the
obnoxious at
thing.
times.
You know, the whole thing with the China, like, he really didn't have to take it that far and, like, do all of this crazy stuff on Twitter. I mean, he may have had some good intentions, not really sure what they are, because, like, I'm not in his head. But, yeah, he was just kind of weird. In general.
Yeah, he was weird. You like weird guys?
By weird, that's kind of a vague question.
Like, what are you going to say? No. Or are you going to say, yeah, I love weird guys?
Well, I'm a really weird person. So it would be more like, does the weird guy who claims that he's weird like weird girls? How about that?
Yeah. So this is going really well, Suki. I'm really enjoying doing this podcast with you.
Yeah, you too.
It's like the best time of my life.
Oh my God. Yes, let's just like take a screen recording of just that little part and then play it back like 2 weeks from now when your life goes to shit. No, I'm kidding.
Remember this? You said this was the best time ever.
Yeah, right?
No, it's pretty good though. I really enjoy it, and all the production team that we have, the my business partner, just everybody who's been supporting us in this, from the local town people to other local businesses. But then it's like just doing this episode with you is pretty cool as well.
Right.
It's like here and now today.
Yeah, it's been beyond my wildest dreams. I know I come on here and I just like downplay the whole thing because it's just so unexpected for me to be on a podcast show.
Yeah.
It was not part of my plan at all until I met you and you were like, hey, you should definitely be on this podcast. And I'm like,
wait, that's not how I said it. I was a little bit more like, there's this podcast and maybe you want to be on it. I'm open to, you want to just come on once or twice?
Yeah, it was like, hey, this is Peter Helms. It was a phone conversation and you were in downtown going to get food. So sprinkled in between the conversation was like, hey, I'll have like the white rice with the pernil. And I'm like, are you asking me to be on a podcast or are you ordering food right now? I'm like, whatever, call me back.
What?
Yes.
That is not how I remember it at all.
Is. Okay, that was conversation number one. And then you came down to the store with somebody else who's on a podcast. And then you just, I don't know, we were talking about business and entrepreneurship. And I had one of my interns in the store. And then it just became more like a dose of reality. Like, holy shit, there's actually people creating a podcast in
Yeah.
this little town. And so I'm like, I don't know. Now we're face to face and there's like more pressure.
Yeah, we have 7 shows in production now.
Mm-hmm.
Like things are really picking up. We've got people coming all the time
Right.
with their ideas. Some really good ideas, by the way,
Yeah.
have been coming our way for different shows that people want to do. I didn't know there was this much talent in southeastern Connecticut, but we're excited to be here.
Yes.
And it's all News Rocky's fault.
And your fault, because you know what? This whole thing is your brainchild, not
Yes, but
just
I'm
the
talking
hustle
about
reports.
Us meeting is News Rocky's fault.
Oh, true. So Kevin Skulczyk from News Rocky,
Yeah,
he
he's
was the
crazy.
one that introduced us to each other. I met Kevin a few years ago. He had a bar up in like some other town, not Norwich. And he was a state representative. And I'm like, ooh, it's a political person. I just better stay over here and not like really dabble in whatever he's doing. But he was a really nice person, and I found him to be very genuine. And so we stayed in touch. And during the protests, which a lot of them I was a big part of to help to orchestrate, facilitate, and support, really he showed up at some of our events, community forum with like the police officers and everything. And I was like, oh, wow, this guy that came from like a few towns over who has now left politics is here to support what we're doing in Norwich. This is quite lovely indeed. And then he started talking about some podcast that he had. And I was like, okay, that's nice, whatever. And he's like, yeah, you'd be great to be on a show. And I'm like, yeah, no. And then I
told him no, like I'm not gonna be.
I was like, that's like really how I said it. I was like listening to him, and I'm like, yeah, no. And he was like, no, I'll like, you'd be great. And I'm like, no. And then he would just like text and call and be like, you should come down to the studio. You have to meet the other guy who wants to do the podcast, and that would be you.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, not interested.
He kept
whatever.
pushing me too. He was like, you gotta meet this person, Suki. She's from Canada, but she's doing all these amazing events.
He really said that? She's from Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he said it, and like
Okay.
she's a rock star. She's putting on all these
Oh,
different
okay.
events and festivals.
Yeah.
In downtown Norwich. You really have to meet her. She's got this cool retail store that sells. I think he was just saying sneakers at the time.
Yep.
Come to find out, you do a lot more than that. But in his mind, it was just sneakers. And he was like, she sells all these really exclusive sneakers, which you do. You got to meet her. And I was like, yeah, Kevin, I don't know. I'm just busy. I'm focused on creating these podcasts and building this network. Whatever. I don't know. And he kept pushing.
Yeah.
That's why I say, like, I love News Rocky. He's the best. Kevin, you really got to watch his show if you get a chance.
Yes.
Good guy. Good friend of mine. But sometimes he gets a little ahead of himself. And so I was like, whatever, Kevin. I don't know, man. I'm just trying to do this. And he kept pushing. Till one day he tricked me. And he walked me down. He was like, oh, we're going to go for a walk after the show.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're just like at your store.
So about that little walk, he had
And
been
I walked in,
texting
I knew.
and
I knew.
calling me since 9 in the morning, 10:30. He's like, are you at your store? How long are you going to be down there for? And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be here all day. And he's like, okay. And then 5 minutes before you guys walked in, he called and he was like, hey, are you still at the store? I'm like, yes, I told you that already like 25 times.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm here all the time,
Oh,
every
so
day.
he was behind the scenes texting you.
Yes.
Well, he'd made a great match.
Okay.
Right? He put us together
Right.
for the show. And so big shout out to News Rocky, Kevin Skulczyk. Really appreciate you for putting this together. And things are going well. So, yeah, thanks,
Awesome.
Kevin.
He set us up.
You did. Well, I appreciate it, though. What do you think?
I totally appreciate it, and I'm glad that we met. I'm glad we have this show. It's, like I said, it's my wildest dreams come true so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
So speaking of wildest dreams come true, there are other entrepreneurs out there, like our guest today, Chassidy, and I really, really want to hear more about her starting a women's empowerment business during the pandemic. I think this is so important right now with the climate of the country as far as like political, just like this generation of youth like rising up and having more a voice and not being afraid to speak out and be open about thoughts and ideas, and women especially.
100%. Totally support
Yeah.
it. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome our guest on today, Chassidy Chapman, founder of
Let us women stand together.
You got it. Thank you for coming on our show. I can't hear you. Could you take maybe the mute off or something?
Maybe I can put my AirPods in?
Oh,
no,
there
you're
you
good.
are.
You're
We
good
can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay.
Yes.
I was just about to grab my handy dandies. So,
How's it going today?
it's going actually good. I woke up a little nervous this morning for this interview, but then I did my makeup and I got back to normal. So I'm doing great now.
Yeah, let me tell you, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Eyelashes on point.
Thank you.
So, if you could, Chassidy, tell us a little bit about your women's empowerment group, what you do, why you started it. Let us know what it's all about.
Okay, so it's actually a bit of a funny story. I actually had a horrible year last year, trying to find myself again with the pandemic. I was going through so much personally in my house and just around me with work and everything. And I woke up one day, October 15th, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to start a group so I can talk shit. Like, I'm just going to start a woman group so we can just vent and not be judged and just talk, whatever we can without being judged. So then I ended up starting a group that day. So it went from 20 members, and then everyone's like, oh my God, this came at a perfect time. I love it. I love it. So then everyone just started venting and venting and venting. So then I was like, you know what, let me start seeing if, someone needs $10 for gas or women and if you need diapers. So then it basically just went from there. And then I had a bunch of women helping me out. I have one of my closest friends helping me. She literally helps me do everything. Her name is Soli, and I have my mom. So it just basically started from me just waking up one day and being irritated. And then it just took off at that point.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, so rewind back to the talking shit part. What were like the top 2, 3 things that you like really wanted to get out there?
The kids being home, us becoming teachers, like overnight.
Yeah.
Like, I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
I have 3 kids. Can you still see me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So I have 3 kids and they were driving me crazy. I have a 12-year-old. She's turning 13 in 2 weeks. I have a 9-year-old little girl and I have a 1-year-old son. So
12, 9, and 1.
Yes.
Yeah,
now
let's just digest that for a minute. All in one house, all cooped up.
Wow.
Right? Is this even healthy?
Oh,
I don't think it is.
I was going sick. I was like, I'm losing my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, I'm working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just so much. It was just too much for me. So that was what we were all talking about. We were all relating, like, I can't do this anymore. I really hate homeschooling. This is ridiculous. So we started from there. And then, we started from talking about, it being hard for us to find women to find jobs. Women were getting let go because of the pandemic and they didn't have any money. Mm-hmm. They needed to pay their bills. And we just were connecting because of the pandemic for everything that was actually going on. Mm-hmm. And it just really started from there, really.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So in a lot of cases, I'm hearing different stories from different people where the pandemic has actually helped to unite people together. So this is another success story of how the global pandemic has provided opportunity.
Yeah,
so it's kind of interesting. True. Yeah. That
is true. Yeah. I've made like so many friends, just opening up this woman empowerment group. And it's amazing to meet so many women who are willing to help, like who are they just have a heart of gold. They're just willing to help. And it's women I don't even know. Like at this point, we're at almost 500 members. We started out with 20 that day.
Wow. So now is this a close group or can anyone just join?
So it's a private group. I kind of want to keep it private because it's more personable that way.
Okay.
And then once you start branching out, then we lose focus of what we really started it for.
Right.
So it is private. We do prefer invites. When someone requests to get in a group, we do some research. We go to their profiles and everything like that. So
you gotta vet them. You gotta make sure that they're a good fit, right?
Right.
Exactly, because we don't come with any drama. It's no judgment. We right now we're actually in a process of helping. Like everyone is in a process of helping a domestic violence victim actually find an apartment. So we
Wow.
literally we literally have a lot of love and respect for one another in that group, and we're based solely off of donations. Like women just I have a cash app for the group. It's called it's Money Woman Standing if you guys want to donate. But we go strictly off of donations.
Yeah, can
And
you post it in the comments below after the show?
Can you say the
sure,
name of the Cash App name again?
sure, it's Woman Standing. So it's the money sign and then Woman WOMEN Standing.
Got it.
Nice.
So I always say no donation is too small. We've had $1 donated, we've had $50 donated. At this point, we actually use that money in the Cash App to help our members out. So I've had members hit me up to say, oh, I don't have gas to get to work.
Right.
I just need gas for the week, or I need groceries for until I get paid Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just awesome. It's amazing. We actually donated to our members over $800 at this point.
Wow.
And that's
awesome.
solely from donations too. That's like women just getting up, like sending $5 or sending $10 or so. I'm really, really appreciative of what we have going on here. It's really like a family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At this point, we've had 2 coat drives, we've had Feed the Homeless, and I've had a bunch of raffles. So I'm really pleased on where the group has really gone, and if I feel like it's a right fit for my lifestyle, because I can do it right from the comfort of my own home. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, this is incredible. So, okay, if people want to just donate or give, but they don't want to join the group, is there a way to be able to like just reach out to you?
Yes.
And
Yep.
okay, so what's a good way for them to get a hold of you, just to like meet up and like make donations?
Message me right on Facebook, Chassidy Chapman. I'll pop right up.
Okay.
And or you can just Cash App as well. I've had men reaching out. I've had men donating for the coat drives. I had a bunch of men donating a bunch of coats. So I mean, I do branch out. You know what I'm saying? Like
Of course.
I wouldn't mind collaborating. I'm so new. It's only been 3 months, so I'm literally just getting my feet wet. But I'm always I'm willing to collaborate, and I'm willing to help out however I can. So
100%.
it's not just I'm not just doing it like only the group. Like I'm always willing. Like someone reached out, they weren't a member of the group, but we ended up gathering a bunch of clothes together for their kids, and we delivered the clothes to their door for their kids for the holidays. So it's not just members that we help out in the group.
That's awesome.
Right.
So let me ask you a couple questions. Why, like,
Sure.
where did this inspiration come from? Like, were you always just looking to do a support group? What was going on? What made you really think about doing this?
So it's funny. I wasn't looking to do a support group. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I've always been like a people person and been like willing to help all the time, donating all the time. That's just who I am. So it wasn't me just like, oh, you know what? I want to make a support group. Like I said, I woke up one day and I was so irritated. I'm like, you know what? Why not? And now we have the group going. So I guess it was meant for me.
Right. It's almost like it's your calling in a way.
Right.
Yeah. As I'm listening to you talk about it, it's just like it's part of your personality and your character to want to do good and help people. Right. And then when you just saw the opportunity and people banded behind you, you got that support, and then ta-da.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Literally. I don't have a story from like, oh, you know what? I just woke up one day and I was like, you know what? Forget this.
Yeah, we have an episode where we talk about.
I'm actually going to Cash App you guys right now. What's the thing again?
Right here. I wrote it down.
#
women standing on Cash App.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. No thanks, Peter. That's great.
I knew I was going to like Peter.
So what was I saying? I was talking about like this episode of failing to plan and planning to fail, but sometimes in business, you kind of have a plan in the back of your mind. Like for you, it would be just helping people in general.
Done.
That's just kind of how you live your life.
Just
right?
like that.
Right. Amazing. And then you didn't have a solid plan, but when the opportunity came up, you just kind of rolled with it. And then the plan was created after.
Exactly. I literally had no plan.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, the pandemic had everybody. We're all trying to find ourselves again. You know, is this gonna last forever? What can we do? We've all, we've gotten spaced out from our relationships, and I'm like, back together, girls. We gotta get back together.
Right. Yeah. We all have to come
So that's
together
how I
and
had it.
support each other. So my other question is, I know you're from Manchester, so is the group open to people in the greater area of Hartford or the county?
Yes. So we have members from everywhere, like literally
Oh,
Ohio, Florida. I
Nice.
seen Texas, Idaho. Like, it's so many members from everywhere because people
Wow.
know different people. So it's literally so many members from different states. It's not just like, oh, Manchester. It's whoever
Okay.
you feel can use the support in the group, and they have to be a woman. Send them right to us. Send them right to us. Like I said, I always, you can't be too sure nowadays. So I do look it
Right.
over. I do look over the invites, but other than that, like, we're always, bring them to us. Send them to us. Send them to us so we can feel good. We don't only, I have like makeup. We have makeup lives like once a week. Like, it's just different things that we have going on in the group. Like, we'll have some women going live to let us know how they make a certain meal. So, we have fun in the group as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there be women in there like, I wish I could do my makeup, or I wish that I could dress a little bit better, or take a little bit more care of myself. So we'll try to encourage them. Like, for me, my biggest thing is I do not like water. So everybody in the group knows I don't like water, and it's so hard for me to like consistently drink water. I know
that's
it's
our
so
hustle
weird,
juice,
but
by the way. We love water.
oh my goodness, it's so hard for me.
It-
All right.
I haven't even drank any water in like 2 days.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so fun fact, I don't like water either, but I have to drink it. Ugh.
I know. I
really?
know. I know. I
I didn't
even
know
bought like
that.
a
I don't
huge
like water.
jug. Like, that's what I'm working on. I'm gonna drink a bottle of water today. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but I'm gonna get there.
You got this. You got this.
Yeah.
So let me ask also, if you were to recommend a couple books for women specifically, are there any books or even maybe YouTube channels that you would recommend?
Well, you know what? Actually, I just started this book. I have it right here. Actually, I was ready.
Oh.
It's called The 4 Hour Work Week.
That's
And
your
it's actually,
favorite.
It's a
say
great
that one
book.
more time.
It's his favorite
Yeah,
book.
it's one of my
Is
favorite
it?
books. Yeah. No, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's
I
one of them.
literally just
It's up
started it.
there.
I
Yeah.
just started it, so I'm so excited to get through this because I've read all the reviews, and I'm like, you know what, this is gonna really get me going.
Nice.
So I'm excited to actually finish this book, and then I'll message you, Peter, like, I finished the book, but I haven't read it. I haven't finished it, but I would recommend for anyone looking to start a business. Look, Peter, look at how successful Peter is, and
Yeah.
this is his favorite book. So now I'm gonna read it today.
Yeah,
I actually got it later on though. Like I was killing myself before I read that book. And then I realized like it's all about time management, being efficient with your time, not necessarily spending a ton of time. All right?
Right.
So it's a really good one.
right.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if it's your favorite, but he refers to it a lot.
I do.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. It's not like you get on me, but I'll be doing something and you're like, have you ever heard of the 4 Hour Work Week? And I'm like, oh my God, not again. Maybe what I'm doing right now, I actually enjoy what I'm doing. I'm not wasting time.
Yeah.
I'm like having a good damn time. Like, just let me be.
Yeah. I do my best
He
to
goes,
be.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
push. I like to push, but
Yeah.
not too much. Right? Like I know, you got to have people in your corner who are going to kind of take you outside of your comfort zone and try to get you to go to that next level. So I love to see the people around me prosper, and sometimes my role is to push a little bit, and that's what she's talking about now.
Sometimes it takes me 2 hours to put hair extensions in, so there goes half my week, right? I mean, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. Yep. It's all good though. So did you come prepared with any questions for us? I know like we like to offer that up, but you don't have to. Do you have any questions?
Well, actually, I do have a question.
All right.
I was watching a live of yours the other day and you were talking about what you have been through. I was so amazed that you've been through all of that and you've gotten here.
Yeah.
Like you were saying that you were on drugs and you were in prison. I'm like, wait a second. I was just
Right?
talking to this guy on the phone.
Right. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
I
Like,
was like, wait a second. This is crazy.
yeah.
And I want to, do you have any advice for someone who has had it hard and they're really struggling with themselves to start a business? What, how did you end up just telling yourself, like, I'm just going to go for it?
For sure.
Because I'm a procrastinator.
No,
So that's a question for
it's
myself.
a great question. What I'd say to that person is believe in yourself, right? 100%. You have to believe in who you are as a human being. That human beings have created some of the most amazing innovations, inventions. They've achieved great accomplishments, and there's not a whole lot different between those people and you. So it's really important to realize that you can learn. If you have that drive, you can learn anything you put your mind to. I really believe in that wholeheartedly. Also, surround yourself around positive people who are going to push you. They're going to help you get to that next level. Be transparent and honest with them. Don't hold any punches, right? That if you share a little bit of who you are, and you put yourself around positive people, they're going to help you. They really are. So yeah, that's what I'd say. Just go for it. You have to have this vision, right? Like, what is the big picture? It can't just be what your goal is for the next year or two. You have to also look about, what do I want to accomplish with my entire life? Why am I here? Ask yourself those big questions and see how the answers of those questions match up to how you're living now. Just have like this drive. If you need to get some inspiration from other people, you can always pick up the phone and call me. You can, come on here, watch our episodes. There's also tons of books. Get some good information going. So that's what I'd say.
Awesome. And my last question is, aside from the 4-hour work week, what's another go-to book that you would recommend for all up and coming entrepreneurs like myself?
Sure. I think we could throw a few out there. I'll throw a few. You want to throw a few?
Sure.
You go first.
All right. The Alchemist and The Greatest Salesman in the World.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, The Alchemist is by Paulo Coelho, and The Greatest Salesman in the World is by Og Mandino. And both of these books are not traditional business books where they give you, modules or whatever that teach you about the elements of business. They're more like stories. And they implement values in them that you could take and utilize, like life principles. And I think it's really important to have that, because in a college, I remember taking a class and it was called ethics. And the first thing right off the bat, the teacher said, or the professor was like, when you walk in this door, you should already know the difference between right and wrong and good and bad. I'm not here to teach that to you. And if you don't know that, you're basically fucked. And so reading these books really helped to broaden my mind, where I'm like, well, this is a really good way to gauge if you know the difference between right and wrong and good and bad, because constantly in business, you're going to be faced with making hard decisions, which will affect how the future will be in your personal life and in the business world. And you really don't know, and you can't predict it until you're put in that situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, she's just dropping some gems. I'm just listening to it, and great advice. I'd actually recommend a book by Tony Robbins called Awaken the Giant Within. It's a really, really good book. There's another one I'd recommend by, there's just so many I want to recommend. I'm trying to pick some good ones though. Purple Cow by Seth Godin. And I recommend this because it's good, solid marketing advice. It helps you to understand how to differentiate your product or brand away from all the others. So that's a good mixture of marketing and then just solid self-development and realizing your true potential as a human being. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I have one more. It's called
Okay.
Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. So all the books I'm mentioning are classics. It's kind of what all the new age business marketing people kind of, I don't know what you call that, like used to create their own businesses or whatever they do based on these classics. And then the other one, it's by Stephen Covey. Something about successful people. Do you know that one?
Yeah,
one
it's
called,
like I forget how many habits, but there's a certain, is it 21
Oh, the
habits
7 habits of
the
highly
7.
successful
Yeah.
people.
This is a good one too.
Yeah.
I read that one
yeah.
a long time ago, but it's definitely a good one.
But it's one of those books when you're first starting out and you read them, you're like, oh, wow, there's a whole world out there. And then from there, that's when you go and discover all those other books.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad is another one.
Yes.
Anything in the Rich
that's
Dad,
very
Poor
popular.
Dad series.
Cash Flow Quadrant,
Cash Flow
is the
Quadrant.
follow-up to that one.
Yep. Business of the 21st Century is another one in his series. All of those by Robert Kiyosaki are really good. Yep. We Want You to Win. It's another good one by him.
I like those 4 books to start because mindset is everything. If you don't have that foundation, then, you could read all the marketing books in the world and whatever, accounting books and reinventing your board and being the best chairman in the world. And none of that shit's not going to even matter because your ego gets in the way and your mindset and perspective. So you really want to build on a really strong foundation mentally. And then from there, you could build up.
Facts.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that information. You guys had a
Yeah.
whole library for me.
Oh, there's so many more.
Oh, there's more. Give us more time.
Yeah. So I want to touch on one more question for you because I remember when we were talking on the phone prior to this, you had mentioned that you were still sort of working a 9-to-5, but you were interested in business and entrepreneurship. If you were to start any business in the world, right, and there were no barriers again that you had to face, what would that business be?
So I have my top dream
Okay.
to be a fashion designer. That's my top dream. Like a few years ago, I actually was on the road there. I was like, I have like a portfolio. I was drawing out my own designs. I had a few designs actually made, but then I don't know what happened. I'm a procrastinator and that never went anywhere. And then my second for me is I really, really, really want to get into real estate. I want to flip properties. So those are my 2 goals. And listen, 2021 is mine. I'm going to do both of them shits. So I'm excited.
Well, listen, you just came on the right show and talked about the right thing because
You
Suki
damn right.
and you need to connect. She's involved in both of those 2 things.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you
Yes.
came on the show and you just spoke it into existence to us and to all the viewers. So you know what? You're going to be held to that.
Yes.
Yeah,
I have
so
to be held
now
accountable this year.
Absolutely.
the universe is listening, right? And
Exactly.
we put it
100%.
out there. We
Yes.
want you to win. Like, we're supportive of you. We believe in you. I know we just met. I heard great things about you through our mutual friend. And just listening to you today and what you have accomplished so far, I definitely know you can do it. I'd love to see your designs and what that all looks like. And if there's anything we can do to support you, feel free to reach out anytime.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. You guys are awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh man, what a good guest.
Right. I'm going to have to connect with her on the fashion and real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know what's really funny? Yesterday, I just want to tell people. So I talk about real estate and how I'm learning all about it because one day I really want to dive into real estate investing. So I'm like not really that interested in being a real estate agent, but it's the investing part. So to me, it's like a game. And you got to learn all the rules in order to be a better player, right? So I don't play poker. So for example, if I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go down to the poker room at Mohegan Sun and win like $3 million, the chances of that happening are like 0 because I don't even know what to do if I sat at the table. Like I'm just not into like cards, right? So it's the same with real estate. Why would you want to get into something and put money behind it if you don't even know any of the rules to the game? So
you gotta
what
study it.
what I did was I joined a real estate investment group. and it's quite popular, as you could see.
Yeah, you got me in it. I was like,
yes.
getting all these emails. I'm like,
so what's really funny
in this group?
is Peter's like, one day, I'm not really interested in doing that now, but maybe. And I'm like, well, the way to learn is if you surround yourself with people who have been doing it. These are real people that live in Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, whatever. Some of these people come to the real estate group, or it's Zoom in now, so they have secondary homes or like commercial properties all throughout the nation. But they happen to like this group because we're just such an eclectic mix of people.
For sure.
And so when he told me that he was kind of interested in one day doing it, I'm like, well, you got to start now. So I put his name on the email list.
I start getting all these emails from this person. I'm like, and I kept saying,
so for 2 weeks.
Yeah, who's sending me these emails? I don't know these people. 2
or 3 times a day, right? I would hear him say like, oh my God, like who are these people? And it wasn't until he mentioned one of the people's names. He goes, it's this one guy, and I don't want to say it, but whatever, like, John Doe or whatever. This John Doe, I keep saying his name and I go, oh, it's because you're part of our real estate investment group. I'm like,
so then I went back and I read all of it. It's good stuff. It's really a good way to get information for sure. But anyways, aside from all of that, let's talk about today's episode in the Hustle Report. So how to start a business during a global pandemic.
Yes.
So what would your advice be? If I came to you, I was like, it's a pandemic, really concerned that if I start my business now, that, it's going to fail because of all of the regulations and stuff.
Yeah.
What would you tell me?
I'd say you're going to die anyway, so just fucking start already. No, I've told this to people, right? I'm like, you could get COVID like next week, so you might as well just do it. And they're just like, are you serious? That's kind of like morbid. I'm like, well, you came to me to ask me a question and you already know my personality. I'm going to give you like a real answer based on who I am. And so there you have it. Why not, right? I'm like, you've thought about this for obviously a long time because you're coming to me with like these pieces of paper with like your notes.
Yeah.
And you've thought about doing it during the pandemic. You didn't think about it before, really, like in this format. So I'm like, just start the damn thing. I'm like, what else are you doing? You're sitting at home doing nothing. You're okay. So a lot of the people who have come to me during the pandemic, they lost their jobs.
Why do you say the pandemic? It's real. It's a thing.
Yes, but
it's a valid concern.
Right, it is. Did I really do that? I'm sorry.
You definitely did.
Anyways, I'll do it again. Pandemic. Anyways, so they got fired, laid off. They have to work from home. They're stuck in a home full of like kids. Yeah. They've gotten like not really evicted fully, but they can't live where they are due to whatever issues. And so they have to move. And so costing them to move, they have to quit their jobs and go find something else somewhere else. So, I mean, there's just a variety of issues that a lot of people have run into, which then made them re-explore their childhood dreams of starting whatever that business is. And I'm like, well, this is really great. Because when life gives you lemons, you just make a whole bunch of lemonade and drink it all up, sell it.
Yeah.
Hopefully sell a lot of it, right? And then
if you got good lemonade.
Well, you better. Why would you make shitty lemonade? I mean,
there's some people. Have you seen the stuff people bring to the market? Jeez.
What kind of market? Like Stop and Shop, or like any market?
No, Stop and Shop is
a
grocery store.
I'm just hungry. That's where my mind's at. Oh, I see what you mean. Oh, like on Shark Tank, right? All these people with terrible ideas.
Shark Tank is not real. Okay. That's not the market.
Okay, what's the market?
People, customers.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Like real people who are going to stores. Like, so the market is everyone. Really.
Oh, like the market symbolically.
No, it's what it's called.
Yes, I know it's what it's called, but like for people who don't really know, the way that you said it just makes it seem like it's a marketplace. Like the people are going to like the flea market.
No, so like when we're talking about marketing, the market itself is not necessarily a store, but it's made up of stores.
Yes, okay.
It's the entire economic system.
Exactly.
It's called the market.
I just wanted you to define that.
There we go. You know what I'd say to people, because this is all mindset here.
Okay.
Is how to start a business during a global pandemic. Mm-hmm. I would actually ask them a question. I'd say, what if you don't? Mm-hmm. So you have an idea, and that business, you believe in, you put a lot of thought and effort into it, you might even have some plans drawn up. What if you don't do that? What would happen? Someone else is going to do it.
Then you get COVID and I don't know, then that's it. You just don't.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes a lot of the people that I talk to, you have to show them a loss, and then that will make them, you got to put the fear in them a little bit, right?
Got it.
Like
yeah.
light that fire for
So
them.
if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it.
Right, and then they get freaked out and they're like, ah, you know, that's kind of like
Yeah.
the Catholic religion, right? You got to show them the burning flames of hell, and then it
Oh
makes
my
them want
God.
to do good stuff.
Yeah, I can see why they say you're like Hitler.
No, like I was raised Catholic, right? So I know what that feels like.
Yeah.
It works.
All right.
Right, there's two ways to get people to do something. So there's positive persuasion, and then there's just
Fear and hope.
fear.
Fear and hope.
Positive persuasion, that's a little different than hope.
Interesting.
Yeah,
What's the difference between hope and positive persuasion?
a whole lot.
Okay. Well, what's the difference?
Hope is an idea that you give to people and doesn't necessarily mean it's there. Like it's not like a tangible thing. Where when you positively persuade something, you're taking that idea to the next step by using like tactical, intentional skills.
Okay.
So there's a strategy behind it.
Got it.
Like even, did you notice how I changed my tone of voice?
Tonality.
The tonality.
Yeah,
Yes.
Neuro-linguistic programming and
Right.
all this stuff. I don't buy into all that. It's
Yes,
like,
you do.
No, I don't.
Because you listen to everything that I say.
Yeah, like I listen to what you're saying, but doesn't mean I buy in.
No, you do. You buy into it. Watch, in 90 days, I will turn your life around.
Jeez. She's positively persuading me.
It's true. I'm a good influence.
Oh, I like it.
Good.
Keep
Great.
going.
So anyways, back to your question of how do you start? So I just say just do it. But of course, that entails like a whole lot, which I think the first thing you should do is start by getting some recognition out there. Even if you don't really have like the actual product or service, just kind of letting people know that, hey, you exist. So there's a lot of people that don't even have a social media account. So social media is free. So if you just wanted to, I mean, like...
Wait. Time out. That was such a... Social media is not free. It's free to sign up. And
Yes,
that's
free to sign up. That's what I mean.
That's how Mark Zuckerberg got everybody into it. Next thing you know, people are spending money on ads, and they never even knew that they could spend money on ads. So
Right.
it's not necessarily free.
Okay, so let me rewind by saying that if you want to start a business, so say, I don't know, what's something that people have done during the pandemic?
Time is
make
not free.
t-shirts. People have been wanting to make t-shirts and sell them, right? So if you don't even have a Facebook account because you're just like anti, Facebook or whatever, then just get an account. That part is free. Because when you have a personal account, then you can start the business page.
I don't believe anything is free.
Okay, your time is not free.
Correct. Time is money.
Okay, yes.
I don't believe anything's free. That's just me personally. That's my mindset.
What I mean...
Because there's always a cost, right? We were talking about the 4-hour work week before, and we're talking about time efficiency.
But come on, let's face it. There's 168 hours in a week. I'm talking to about
Correct.
regular people, right? And what do they do with their 168 hours a week? They're watching like Netflix and shit. They're watching a bunch of like slime videos and I don't know what's going on with GameStop right now. Who fucking cares? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not affecting my life. Is it affecting your life?
Yeah.
So start a business and take 15 minutes to log into Facebook and type in your email, create a password, and then
So that's
put
how
on-
you start a business on a global
Yes.
pandemic, is you open up
Yes,
a
free
Facebook account.
free account.
It's free to sign up, but it's going to take your time.
It's gonna take your time, and so instead of watching all that junky crap on TikTok or whatever, which doesn't even have a value in the first place, if you really are trying to make money, then that part of it is free.
Okay, so
because you have free time.
So how else would you start during a global pandemic?
Okay, so first is that content creation is number one. You really need like
You would
content.
just create content to
Correct.
start the business.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I said that was step one, not step 10. Okay.
I disagree. I don't think that. I think you're putting the cart way before the horse.
We're talking about like regular people, not like Bill Gates.
Bill
level.
Gates is a regular person.
He's an
He
alien.
puts his He puts his pants on one leg at a time, just like you and I.
Okay, but when he first started coding and all of that, he was a 13-year-old kid, and he went and he got like, I mean, it was free for him.
Yeah,
Right?
I guess. I think it's really important to have a certain mindset, because to start a business during a tough time like a global pandemic, you have to have a certain mindset. And one of those things you need to take a look at is your confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
Not That's free.
So
confidence is free. Smiles are also free.
Confidence, there's nothing free in this world. It all comes at a cost.
So I'm smiling at you. Pay me. Pay me, bitch. How about that?
You hear this? You hear how she talks to me?
I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So
I'll be nice.
No worries. No, I can take it.
Okay, go on.
But so there's nothing free in this world. Don't listen to what she's saying. She doesn't know what she's meaning right now.
Oh, I'm out of my mind.
She's hungry. She's angry. No, but seriously though, what are the specific steps someone should take to open a business during a global pandemic?
Well, you know what? It really depends on the type of business. Okay. So I was using the make t-shirts, because the profit margins on creating t-shirts are quite high actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they should start t-shirts and create content.
Right. Exactly. And then take a bunch of pictures, and you can model them yourselves. You could get an account with there's some program out there that makes free stock photos or whatever.
What's
like a mock-up.
Depositphotos.com?
Oh, I don't know what it's called. There's a whole bunch.
Depositphotos.com.
But the whole idea is just to create content using free social media, getting your stuff out there, and then making money. Because as soon as you start cash flowing, you could take that money and then invest it into creating a real business.
Okay, so
this is just like the.
I'm asking you a lot of critical questions.
That's fine. Ask away. I'm ready. Right, because you got to kind of create proof of concept, and then there's something once again, I'm just talking about making a T-shirt business to start, right? So I could use different examples, but we're using this one. So there's a product life cycle, which we know is the most expensive and the lengthiest. So in order to kind of get to know your customers more and get feedback, so if I rolled out with just the black T-shirt and red writing, someone might be like, well, I never wear black T-shirts. Do you make that in white? And you're like, ooh, I'll take note of that, And on social media, the platform allows you to get engagement and people to give you feedback. So then you should start taking notes and then start planning, your real business after you make a few dollars from selling just the black T-shirt with the red writing.
Got it. Interesting stuff. Well, I guess my put on it is to start a business during a global pandemic, you actually have to have an idea. You have to do some research. You shouldn't just start a business that you think is really cool and fun. You should start a business that you need to believe in it, but that the market actually wants, right? So if people don't want what you have, you're not going to go very far. You might get some support from your family and friends. They might, kind of feel some sort of way and think, oh, Sally's got this new product line and we're going to support her, but they're only going to buy once or twice. Those are your family and friends. You have to make sure that what you have is something that people actually want. As far as the way you market it, it's all sales. It really is. Sales is not one of these words that you need to be afraid of. At the end of the day, social media is not a selling platform, by the way. It's social media, not selling media. I think that's super important for people to know.
Right.
Content only creates brand awareness. It gets people to know about you. It's not a place to direct sell. Imagine if I came on this podcast, which you're seeing on social media, and I was like, buy my products, buy. You're going to be like, oh my God, this guy is no, that doesn't work. That might have worked 50 years ago, but not now, and definitely not during a global pandemic when people are on limited budgets. There's a lot of people out of work. So those are things you have to consider when starting during a global pandemic. You also need to make sure that you're safe. If you're going to do a retail operation, you need to make sure you're following all the regulations of your local town and your state. Otherwise, they're going to shut you down and you're going to waste a bunch of time and money. There are some businesses that you can't start during a global pandemic. So you may need to wait until that, you know?
Right. So researching and getting a little bit of an education, well, not a little bit, a lot of education. The more the better, and just learning.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
then
I guess
find
when
people who've done it before.
Right.
So look, you might be the first one to be able to start a company and be able to win at it. I don't want to knock you for it. But it would be good to gather some information from people who actually started businesses and ask them, businesses like the one you're trying to start, and ask them how did they do it, and listen, right? That would be a good thing to do. And at the end of the day, just go for it.
right.
Just go for it.
Well, you know what? I guess when you first asked the question, how do you go about starting a business? I already thought that people did their research and they were just ready to start at that point.
Right.
So that's why I said, like, just go and start a social
that's
media
great
account
information
and get
you're
content
providing.
out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't even done the homework or the research, definitely start with that. Don't even like think about getting it out to customers yet, because you're definitely not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not trying to lead you down the wrong path at all.
It's all good information, regardless. Take it for a collection of it, even the banter back and forth. We do that for you guys to see. There's different opinions on this, and that's okay to have different opinions. But nonetheless, really great episode today. Are there any closing notes that you want to say to people, or?
I want to say that I'm having a great time being on the show. Every show is very interesting, and I don't know. I just feel like we're giving a lot of people really great content. And I know we're out of time, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about like the visual communications. If you guys don't know what that is, especially during the pandemic, look it up, because as you know, everyone's like at home doing nothing but watching something on a screen. So if you want to start a business, it's all about visually engaging people.
Maybe
Yeah.
we should do a whole episode on visual communication.
Definitely, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's non-visual communication, right? Maybe
So
start
talking
there.
on the phone,
Talking on the phone.
emails.
Did
kind
you
of,
know
and they're
though?
just
I'm actually going to give
words.
some pushback. There's this
Yeah.
big buzz around visual communication, and I'd have to say that at the end of the day, all deals are closed over the phone.
Yes.
So
Right.
unless you're selling a product, then it's a little bit different. But even at the high level of a product-based company, all of those deals are taking place over the phone. However, we now have something called Zoom. And Zoom incorporates a phone call and a video conference at
Right.
the same time. So if you're going to have sales meetings, incorporate the visual component of a Zoom meeting or a web-based meeting if you can.
Right. So I just want to say, like, music videos, for example, is that's a form of visual communication. So you could have like a really great song that you found on Apple iTunes or on the radio, but until you see that artist all dressed up with like a yacht maybe, or like gold chains or whatever, it really gives you a completely different aspect of the message that they're trying to portray.
For sure. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of the Hustle Reports. We really appreciate you. Please take some time to give us a thumbs up and share the content with your friends if you could. Also, if you like to listen, if you're an audio type of person, make sure you check out our streaming episodes on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, and then there's a few others. Wherever you watch or listen, we can be found. Just make sure you go and look us up at the Hustle Reports.
Are we on YouTube?
We are on... No, we're not on YouTube yet. We're going to be on YouTube, and I'll announce that in a future episode. We'll talk about where you can find that.
Awesome.
All right? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you guys next
Talk to
time.
you soon. Yep, bye.